for today is internal and external market structure. Okay, last time we talked about market structure, but this time we'll be talking about internal and external market structure. I didn't add the consolidation structure because we won't be needing that in this course, in this strategy. Okay, so now this is for the bullish market structure. The market will not be in, as in, like smooth, just like this. Okay, most of the time, this is how the market is going to be like. All right, so it is now your job to do what? To figure out which is the external and which is the internal. It is very, very important for you to be able to identify your external structure and your internal structure, to know which one is your external and which one is your internal. If you cannot identify this, whatever strategy it is that you're trading, I don't know, but for this strategy exactly, there's going to be problem. So this is the basic foundation. That is a serious foundation. It has to be very, very strong. So you really need to practice this after we're done with these lessons. Okay, so I don't know if I mark my own structure differently, but for this strategy and for every other strategy I've taught, this is how I mark my market structures. Okay, internal and external are very essential. So now we can see here we have our lower high. Let me liberate. Okay, so as I was saying, these are our low and these are our high. We can see these structures. We have these internal structures. Let me look this. Okay, so we have these internal structures here. Most people will be like, okay, this is another lower low, this is another lower high. Sorry, this is another lower low, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then higher high. No, 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 no. Everything in here is internal. Okay, so after the structure, after this pullback starts, immediately this pullback starts, the last low that price get to, the last point that price get to before we broke this new high, is the higher low. Okay, not this one, not this one, it is this one, because it is the last point price got to before we, so this is the external higher low. Okay, whatever is in here are internal. You understand? So you don't go marking this and feel that, okay, this is my higher high, this is my low, this is my high, this is my higher high, higher low, and then this is my higher high, this is my higher low, this is my higher high, this is my higher low, this is my higher high. No, that's not how it works. The last low, okay, that price got to after the first pullback is your higher low before a break of structure. That is your valid external structure. The same thing applies to this. This is not the last low. This is not the last low. This is the last low. Okay, this is the last low. Many will be like, okay, look at this happen. Oh, okay, that don't mark their structures well. Be like, okay, this is higher high. Okay, we have higher low. We have lower high. We have lower low, right? We have higher high, and then we have lower low. Meaning that change of character. Now we can be bearish. Though, trade from probably maybe an order block. They'll be like, okay, let's trade from this order block, and then we target another low. No, you are trading an external structure, and that is a low probability trade. So price, okay, the last point where price got to, come on, let me clean this. The last point where price got to is your low. The last point price got to before a new break of structure happened, before we broke the recent pullback, that's the last higher high, is your higher low. That is your external. Whatever is happening in between is none of your business. Whatever is happening in between is what? Is an internal structure. Okay, whatever is happening in between is an external structure. So this is your true break of structure. Okay, and this price came here, broke structure. We don't have any internal structure here, so which is that? And then the same thing applies to this. So the same thing applies to this too. This is not the last low. This is the last low before the break of structure happened. Okay, so this is how you mark your market structure. The last low price got to. If you're on, don't worry, I'm going to do chart examples for us. We're going to see the chart examples. Okay, we'll do chart examples for internal and external market structure. So let me do the bearish part. The same thing applies to the bearish part. We have our high and we have our low. This is the last point price pull back to lower high. It's going to be our lower high before a break of structure. That is the valid lower high. Okay. So if price, let's say if price is pulling back like this, let's say price pulls back like this, right? Sorry, price pull back like this, does something like this. We don't have a lower low yet, a lower high yet. Why? Because we've not broken structure. Price can still do like this. No, we don't have a lower high yet because we've not broken structure. Price can still come back and do like this again. Eh? We don't have a lower high yet because we've not broken structure, and then price can now come and do like this. So if price does this, then you know that okay, this is our lower high. Why? Because this is the lowest point price got to before this break of structure happened. Okay, so let us take note of that last point where price got to before a break of structure is your valid lower external lower high. Okay, the same thing applies to this last point price got to. This is the last point price got to before we had a break of structure. This one too. This is the last point price got to before we had a break of structure, and then this one, this is the last point price got to before we had an external break of structure. Okay, good. So that is it about internal and external. So now we're going to mark this on real chart so that we can understand properly, because this is definitely not how the chart looks like. Okay, it's a lot of candles. The chart looks like this. Yes, yeah, a lot of candle. Oh, my trade hit TP. Okay, nice. Okay, so the chart is like this with a lot of candles. Okay, so you get confused, you don't know which is which. Don't worry, we're going to do chart examples. We're going to mark it on chart, and I'm going to teach you how to mark it properly on chart on our next lesson. See you there.